Because this is the most important piece of life in your life, isn't it?
Yes.
Because the problem is just this, you are living with an idea that you're immortal. You would do nothing other than what is absolutely needed for you and everybody around you. It's the only thing which has added value to your life.
Right now, you invested too much on little things, like earning a living and having this and having that, and missing everything.
The most terrible thing about human beings is that they're so busy with their own stuff. You're very sensitive to what happens to you, barely sensitive to what happens to everything else.
Are you missing out on the main formula that could keep you happy? There are certain things that can be changed to make your life joyful.
You're a bundle of thoughts, emotions, ideas, opinions and prejudices right now, not a piece of life. If you sat here just as a piece of life, not as a man, not as a woman, not as this, not as that, not as a thought, not as an emotion, just a piece of life, this would naturally reverberate with the rest of the existence. Right now, you invested too much on little things, like earning a living and having this and having that, and missing everything. Oh, should I not have this, should I not have that? Having is not the problem, clinging is the problem, isn't it? Having is not the problem. What you have, you become that after some time. Have you noticed? On a particular day when you're very joyful, 24 hours, poof, just went off like a moment. You're miserable and depressed, one day goes like a eon. So only miserable people have a long life. Joyful people, even if they live to be 100, it's too brief. Before you know what's happening, it'll be gone. Really, it gets over too fast. But if you're miserable, you will live long. So it's a very brief life. And whatever is of paramount importance to this life must happen at the earliest, not day after tomorrow, isn't it? It must be today. So, the life process doesn't wait. You need to understand, your life is just a certain combination of time and energy. Energy we can manage, time you cannot manage. It's going away? It doesn't matter. You're awake, you're asleep, you're okay, you're not okay, you're happy, you're miserable. Going, going, going. As I'm talking, you're 2 minutes closer to the grave. Yes or no? Time you cannot manage, it's just going. You can only manage your energy, you can manage your activity. How you make use of the time, you can manage. But you cannot manage time, it's slipping away, isn't it? So if you recognize that your life is just a certain amount of time and energy, you would definitely invest your energy in a way it is most meaningful to this life, isn't it? But if you do not understand this, if you intentionally forgetful about the briefness of life, and you go about as if you're eternal. Yes, you are eternal, aren't you? On a daily basis, you're not aware that life will end for me, and it could be today. Not to be terrified, just to be in tune with the fundamental facts of life, that it is possible that our lives could end today, isn't it? Possible? We are not intending, we are not seeking that, but it's possible, isn't it? If you miss this, then you'll miss your whole life. If you do not understand that you have an expiry date and it is not even fixed like a pharmaceutical product that you have another 2 years to live, it could be just about any time. If you miss this one fundamental fact, you're sure to miss your whole life because everything that's vital will be tomorrow, and tomorrow never happens.
There are some simple but very effective practices that humans have forgotten along the way. During another talk, Sadhguru reminds us of how life should be lived and how simple it can be.
A lady went into a very busy butcher shop. She saw dozens of dressed chicken hanging there. She went there, lifted a leg and smelled, lifted another leg and smelled, lifted a wing and smelled. Like this she went on from chicken to chicken. Then the butcher came and tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Ma'am, could you pass a test like that?" You won't. So don't go about smelling around. All of them stink a bit. Yes, every tree, every plant, in some way rooted in filth. But the question is only, does it throw out a fragrant blossom? That's all the question is. If the roots are bloody clean, it will not throw out anything wonderful. Are we in the process of transformation? Because this is the nature of life. Are we a continuous process of transformation? Because everything is. Everything else on the planet is in the process of transformation. Are you a process of transformation? That's a big question. If you are a big yes to this one question, nothing else matters. If you are a stagnant pool, getting entangled in this and that every day, and finding devious reasons as to why you're entangled, then you're a hopeless case. You are a waste of time on this planet. When I say waste of time, I'm saying a wasted life because your life is just time. Some other creature could have lived. A grasshopper would have hopped around with more joy than a devious human being. If you're not capable of something better than every other creature, we have no business because we are a bloody expensive life. Expensive in every way. To eat, sleep, to walk, how many arrangements we need? For so much expense, this must do something better than every other creature can do. Spiritual process means just this, that every day you keep subtracting your terrible things. A terrible thought, a terrible emotion, a terrible word, a terrible action, every day, one a day. You'll be doing great in a month or two. Am I underestimating you? That I believe you have only 30 terrible things The most terrible thing about human beings is that they're so busy with their own stuff, they don't feel the pain and suffering and what other life is going through. Not sensitive. Not being sensitive is the most terrible crime because If we were sensitive, not ego-sensitive, life-sensitive, if we were life-sensitive, everything that we can do, we would anyway do. What we cannot do, what to do? We can't do, that's all. But what we can do would happen. You're very sensitive to what happens to you, barely sensitive to what happens to everything else. In this condition, the most wonderful nature of the human being will not find expression. You have to become sensitive. You must understand the tree, the flower, the birds, and all creatures are very sensitive to everything that's happening around them. They won't go and hurt anything unless they need to eat. Yes, unless it's their food. They never went about simply killing, because they're very sensitive to life. Not in the way you understand, not as an emotion, but simply sensitive to life. So human beings have to show little evolution, you know. We have to show little evolution, little more evolution than the other creatures which are on the force. Yes, I know, in the world there is competition for resource, there is competition for everything, and some friction will happen here and there. I am not innocent of those things. But I want you to at least eliminate the friction that happens within you, though you have nothing to gain.
In another talk, Sadhguru explains the value of life in the simplest way. Check this out.
Sadhguruji, then what is it? Okay, so for all of us, how do we live our days? What is the best way to just go about it? Give us in clear, simple sentences, do this and you will be at least on the way to being blissful or happy or aware or living in a nice conscious way.
If you just observe, if everybody makes a little effort, everybody take a little time for this piece of life, okay? Not for your family, not for your career, not for something else. Just for this piece of life, give it little time because this is the most important piece of life in your life, isn't it? So pay some attention to this. How does it happen? Why have you taken it for granted? Believe me, you're not going to be here forever. So, do not take this for granted. If you wake up in the morning, tomorrow if you wake up in the morning, of all the people who go to bed tonight, over 1 million people will not wake up tomorrow morning. And tomorrow, if you and me wake up tomorrow morning, is it not a fantastic thing? 1 million people did not wake up. You woke up. Is it not a great thing? Just look at the ceiling and smile. You are still awake, you're still there. And for many millions of people, somebody who's dear to them did not wake up. So just check those 5, 6 people around you. They all woke up, wow, it's a fantastic day. You woke up and everybody who matters to you around you woke up. Is it not fantastic day?
Yes.
You don't seem to think so.
Yes.
Because the problem is just this, you are living with an idea that you're immortal. When I say you're immortal, you're not actually thinking you're immortal, but you're not conscious of your mortality. If you're not conscious of your mortality, somewhere you think you're immortal, isn't it? How many moments in a day are you conscious that you're mortal? If you were conscious, would you have time to crib? Would you have time to fight with somebody? Would you have time to do some rubbish with your life? If you knew, if you are conscious that you are mortal, you would do nothing other than what is absolutely needed for you and everybody around you. This one thing if you do, if you just remind yourself, you don't think this is a negative thing. Death is not a negative thing. It's the only thing which has added value to your life. If you're here forever, you would be unbearable. Every day, every moment, if you remind yourself, this is a brief life, I'm mortal, one day I will end. Just do this for 2 days and see, you will become something truly fantastic within yourself. Just this is all, that's all that's needed. If you want to know the value of life, just know that it's a brief happening.
This is not the only way to look at life, but certainly, this is one of the best ways to do so. Click on the video shown right above the screen to see more videos from us. What would you like to see next? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.